Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, you found me over here.
How are you doing?
I have no idea what's going on in this room setup, so I'm gonna leave it all to you.
This is our owl camera that you're seeing. It's all seeing, all powerful.
It follows you when you're talking. It's kind of, it's a little.
It is very nice to see everyone.
Well, you look great.
Okay.
I will call the meeting to order at 4:07 on today, Tuesday, August 22nd. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Director Hernandez.
Aye. Vice Chair present, sorry.
Vice Chair Kick.
Here.
Chair Testa is absent. We have a forum.
Okay, this meeting is open to the public. The audience may address the committee on any matter within the general subject matter jurisdiction. Do we have anybody from the public joining us today?
We currently do not have anybody from the public in attendance. And I didn't receive anything via email from the public or public comment. There's nobody here in the audience.
Okay, so I will go ahead and close the meeting to the public. Minutes from the June 27th meeting. Can I get a?
I'll go ahead and approve the minutes for the June 27th.
And I will second. Roll call,
Sure. Director Hernandez.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kick.
please. Yes.
Chair Testa is absent, and we do not have anybody here from the audience or any public comment.
Point of order real quick, sorry. We don't have any board members remotely, so we don't have to do a roll call, but you can if you want.
Oh, okay.
With your choice.
I was going with it. but
Nice.
yes.
We still have to, for some reason, we still are, even though we don't, we're all there, but we're still have to do a roll call.
It's totally up to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
No,
I just all in favor say aye.
Oh, all right, great.
Yeah, if we had someone remoting it, it'd be different.
All right, so treasurer's report, June 2023 and July 2023.
Okay, so I will start with June. June is a preliminary report. It does not have all the year-end accruals in it. It would be nice to have everything and be able to get it to you in time, but I don't. So you will get your final report in the form of our annual comprehensive financial report. However, as you can see, our cash flow is great. It hasn't been a problem in years. We have great cash flow. At the time of this report, our expenses were at 79.49. They're of course going to end up being higher, but they're still going to come in under budget. So, and then our revenues are at 91.4. So, and again, we're still waiting on some of our revenues as well at the end of the year. So this doesn't have any of the accruals. We have everything accrued now, but we don't necessarily have that cash in hand. Or those expenses paid out. Sometimes we have to just say, can you send us the invoice? We're not paying you because you're not, not doing what you're supposed to be doing, but I make the invoice through June. So, but we're gonna come in under budget and we will be at budget or maybe a little bit higher with the revenues. Great, so. And then July. July is technically not preliminary. However, I will tell you that the beginning numbers on the treasurer's report, which they feed into the other numbers. Those are not updated because they have to be, they come from the June when the June is finished. So it's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty much this is how it's going to look. In terms of the expenses, there won't be any additional expenses. They are at 9.16. They're a little bit higher than what you would expect for 1 month. And that is just because things like insurance, our liability insurance and that sort of thing have to be paid all upfront at the beginning of the year. It's not paid monthly. So we could pay it monthly, but then we have to pay interest on it. So there's no point because we have the cash. So, but our revenues are of course low. They're only at 0.4%, which is totally normal because we have to wait for everybody to kind of catch up and start sending cash in. However, we do keep money in our LAF account, in our bank account, so that we're covering cash flow. So at some point, we will send some funds back to MTC, but we won't do that till the money starts flowing in. So it all evens out. We continue having a wonderful cash flow. And that is June and July. Any questions? No, I have no questions.
All right, can I?
I'll go ahead and approve to go ahead and send it to the full board, the treasurer's report.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Okay. So much faster.
Yeah.
In a few seconds. It really is.
It's optional, but yeah, it's faster.
Okay, and then item 6, and we still have no public in.
No.
2023 audit of LAVTA's financial statements.
Okay, so as you know, we have to have our financial statements audited every year. Our auditors, of course, do that. They also help with preparation of the annual comprehensive financial report. And each year, our auditor from Mason Associates, Vicky Rodriguez, who is the, I might get this wrong, CEO, the current CEO of Mason Associates is running our audit this year. And Vicky's worked with us in the past. We change every so often, but she's worked with us in the past, so she's familiar with transit. And so she needs to come and speak with you all about any concerns or any issues you may have. So Vicky, I turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Everyone can hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay, great. So just to summarize, you did receive a letter from me just as a standard auditor communication, but wanted to summarize that we have been engaged to perform the audit of the basic financial statements for LAVTA. And that's where we will perform the audit in order to be able to opine on the financial statements as to whether they are fairly stated and fairly represented. We are also engaged to perform compliance audits over several different grant sources. That's the use of the county measure funds, the single audit, which is the audit of the federal awards, as well as the TDA funds. Because of the compliance audits, we not only perform our audit under US generally accepted accounting principles, we also conduct them under government auditing standards, as well as uniform guidance. As far as the audit timing, we came in April to perform what we called our interim phase of the audit. And that's where we focus on the internal controls and as well as testing of transactions to make sure that the controls are in place and that they're being followed. And that's where we also start beginning some of the compliance testing as well. We are scheduled next week, the week of August 28th, to perform what we call the final phase. And that's where we focus on the actual financial statements now that the general ledger is closed. And so we're looking at the account balances and assisting in preparing the report. We perform our analytical review procedures, test significant transactions. We do use third-party confirmations, particularly in the revenue areas. And then we also do our remaining compliance tests for the grants. Before we issue the financial statements and our opinion on them, we do require that management provide us with a management representation letter where they will let us know that they provided us with everything that we needed for the audit, disclosed anything that might have an impact on the audit, and that everything that they provided to us that they feel is accurate and truthful. As part of the audit, we do inquire with different people, including the committee. You'll notice that there are like 4 questions that we ask in the letter, and this is all surrounding just, whether you have any knowledge of any fraudulent activity, any accusations or allegations of fraud, or if there's any areas that you just have concerns about. We also ask whether you have any knowledge of any non-compliance with laws and regulations. And lastly, we also ask is if you are aware of any related party transactions. And what we mean by that would be like if there are any loans to employees or to management, or if there are any contracts with a company that maybe a board member might be affiliated with. Again, this isn't a concern about, it not being legal, but if it is something significant, we just want to make sure that that the authority is using the same protocols over those contracts that they would with anyone else, as well as if it's significant, it's something that may need to be disclosed in the financial statements. So again, not something that we're concerned about from it not being allowable, but just whether it needs to be disclosed or not. And so if there is anything you would like to discuss now, I'm happy to receive any responses to those questions. But also please note that I am available all year round. So if you do have any questions or concerns relating to any of this, that you can feel free to reach out to me at any point throughout the year. It doesn't need to wait for this meeting or when we're issuing the financial statements. Does anyone have any questions or any concerns relating to the scope of the audit or anything that I presented right now?
Do you need a verbal response from us right now?
No, so long as I do receive a response, so I'm happy to receive that by email or verbally or phone call, whatever you feel most comfortable with.
Yeah, so the way we do it in Dublin is it gets sent to us and then we verify it, each council member verifies it, and then we have to sign it.
Okay.
And so,
Yes.
so it's not just like a verbal, like, oh, hey, it's an actual document that we have to fill out, and it has to go back to our city staff, and our city staff files it appropriately.
Yes, the requirement is that it is two-way communication, so that can be in writing or it also can be verbal. So, so again, my main thing is that I just want the response to be, honest and, so sometimes in a public setting like this, you may not speak up as much or may not want to provide as much detail. And so I present the information here just so you're kind of understanding what it is that we're looking at in an audit and then what concerns we may have or need to be informed about. But again, whatever you're most comfortable with as far as communication, I'm also happy to email you directly, and you can respond that way, or we can also set up a phone or video call as well.
I just think it'd be better for you to send it to each one of the board members and then it's done.
Do all board members need to?
Well, I know every council member needs to do it. Every council member.
Yeah, again, that's
ACTC, we do, that's how we do it in ACTC.
Yeah, and that is just by the judgment of the audit partner. So I'm completely fine with sending out that communication. I mean, not all entities where we also present this in a public meeting. So that also may be the case where there isn't this meeting already set up. So the requirement is that there's two-way communication.
Sure. Is it just this committee or is it the entire board?
For this, it will be just this committee. Yes.
Okay, well, just because I know myself, I would like to respond right now as no to all four, because then I have one less email to reply to. So, thank you. She's like,
okay.
for that.
I have kids running around.
Well, and again, that is, I mean, the more important thing is that I get a response and that there is this two-way communication. Because believe me, that there are, I do have clients.
The entire board doesn't have to do it, then I am also okay, but it's just, well, it's Julie too, right?
And Julie would probably need to be emailed. Probably, yeah. I mean, she has the letter, but whether she read it when she wasn't coming to the meeting, so we can, Vicki, I can give you Julie Testa. She's the other member of this committee. But yeah, because LAVTA has a finance and administration committee, which technically all agencies are supposed to have something similar. It can be presented to them because you guys are representing the board on this committee. So.
Yes, and we also present to the full board when we do present the financial statement. So it's not like we never see, there's other entities that don't request us to actually present to the full board or council. So there's varying ways of doing it. But so yes, if I could get the other committee members' email address, then I can communicate that way.
I'll have Jennifer send that to you. Also, we've used this meeting in lieu of the rail, because the rail authority for some reason doesn't have a finance committee of any sort, but because we've had 2 rail board members on this committee, but you stepped off the rail board. and
Yeah.
Julie's not here, so we'll have to mail the rail stuff to Julie as well.
Yes.
But I think that we will have a finance committee as we get.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
yeah. This is just how we've been fulfilling the requirement for now. And I was like, oh yeah, it's not a problem because we have two, but Julie's not here, so we will have to.
Yes,
set
yeah,
something
no,
up.
so we'll do a different communication for real, definitely.
Do you want to respond to the question?
I will respond as well, so that I don't have to, since Brittany put me on the spot here. Yeah, and I have not received any, so the more or less it'd be like, no,
Okay.
to all the.
Okay, okay, thank you for that. Any questions at all about the audit process or anything else?
I have that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, Becky, it was good seeing you.
All right, have a great rest of your meeting. Thank you.
Okay, there's still no public, so I'm gonna move on. It's informational. Okay, contract award for legal services, item 7.
I will take this one. Staff are requesting that the committee recommend the board execute a contract with Hanson Bridget for legal services. So on June 14th, staff issued an RFP to procure legal services for a 3-year base term with 4 one-year options. The previous legal contract was in effect for 10 years and expired at the end of June. As an aside, we have set up a mini purchase order to cover the gap in services between the expiration of the contract and the expected start date of our new contract. So we are covered with legal. We received 2 proposals were received in response to our RFP. We received one from Hanson Bridget and one from Renee Public Law Group. We had 3 staff members on our evaluation committee, myself, Tamara, and Mike Tobin, our Director of Operations. We reviewed the proposals and evaluated them based on 5 criteria: company qualifications, experience and references, qualifications and experience of key personnel, understanding of agency needs, conflict of interest approach, and reasonableness of cost. And following the review of the proposals, all 3 evaluators ranked Hanson Bridget the highest, significantly higher than the Renee Public Law Group. Hanson Bridget just is, they've been doing this for so long. They have such a deep bench of legal experts in all areas that, you know, we tend to need assistance in: Title VI, procurement. The costs were very similar to both agencies. So I think actually RPLG received a few more points for cost. They were slightly cheaper. But staff is recommending that the board award the contract for legal services over a 3-year base term with 4 option years for an aggregate not to exceed amount over the base term of $450,000. And I am happy to answer any questions.
So 4 option years of 3 years.
3-year base, 4 option years.
Or which would be 12.
No, it's 7. 3-year base and then 4 one-year options.
Oh, 4
1-year options, yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
4 1 year.
Yeah, we just think it's good to go back out there and see what, you know.
Why don't we just do it every 3 years?
We could.
I'm just wondering because, so when we review our attorney, well, I guess that's a little different. We actually sit down and review, we have a committee that actually reviews.
But that's your full-time staff member, right, versus a
No,
contract?
2 of the council members do that.
No.
No,
I
our
mean,
attorney's
the
not
attorney.
full-time staff.
Oh,
Devlin contracts everything.
oh.
We save lots of money by doing that. But you get more resources too, when you do that. So.
Well, this is a shorter
I mean, in the
contract than our
past,
team. It was a 10-year contract.
I
5 1
remember.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've obviously.
we've had them for 20 years also. The previous contract was 5 and 5. So I thought 3 and 4 would keep things, like keep them sharpening their pencils and then allow us to go back out into the market. We don't have to extend the option years, but it is slim pickings with legal firms right now. It is just, I mean,
Well, with transit
with
experience,
transit,
there's literally.
yeah, Hanson Bridget has quite a stronghold on the Bay Area, which is great. 2 of our agencies actually have evergreen contracts with Hanson Bridget that don't expire.
Oh.
So I've been reached out to by 2 agencies. They're like, wow, RFP out? How'd you do that? And I was like, well, we had an end date on our
contract, so.
And I think some agencies also just don't apply because they've had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I actually was reached out to and said, hey, and I'm like, I can't really get involved, but, I think that puts a mindset.
Absolutely.
Into someone's, law firm.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, well, I'm not even gonna apply because they've been their attorney for
Yeah.
years, so it's not even worth me doing.
Yeah.
All the paperwork,
I couldn't agree with you more.
so.
We were pleased to actually have a second proposal. They came in at the last minute. We didn't think we had two. We actually thought, we had no one show up. We had Hanson Bridget show up for our pre-proposal. Just Mike Connor.
Before reaching out to.
We did do some marketing. We tried to get, we did.
Yeah, but I think you're right. It's the reason why I said.
Yeah.
We did the marketing, but also when reaching out to other transit agencies and we're like, hey, who's your legal firm? So we could send it to there. The response was either it's in-house or it's Hanson Bridget.
Yeah.
Every transit agency in the Bay Area. So finding another agency with transit experience and with FTA experience with all that, it's gonna be very difficult.
This is an action item.
Go get a law firm,
Yeah.
Seriously.
scoot in on the
You
market.
should definitely specialize in cybersecurity. They charge more.
They do.
You really do.
Oh, boy,
They
okay.
can only utilize it for a short.
There really isn't a lot of money in transit,
Yeah.
legal, but yeah, cybersecurity.
Yeah, I'm not sure student debt is worth that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am looking for a motion to approve or to recommend this to the full board.
I mean, I'll move it, but I still think, I won't be here in the future.
Okay, yeah.
But I just think it's worth, remembering that.
Yeah.
Okay, I will second that, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, still no public amendment to last week's bylaws, Article 3, Section 3.3A regarding board compensation.
This is an action item. This is your second reading of the proposed amendments to the LAVTA bylaws, specifically to address compensation received for your participation at our meetings. And we are recommending to increase that compensation to $150. So we are recommending that staff recommend that the committee forward the second reading of the proposed amended bylaws to the board for consideration. And the bylaws are attached to packet attachment 1, and the policy on compensation is attached as attachment 2. I'm happy to take any questions.
I don't have any questions.
Neither do I.
I'll go ahead and forward it to, from the rest of the board.
All second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Then we can move on to item 9, still no public, on-call creative design and media strategy services task order.
Great. Sorry, I had like the long titles here. Staff are recommending that the committee recommend the board authorize the executive director to enter into a task order contract with Celtis Ventures, Inc. for on-call creative design and media strategy services through March of next year. LAVTA issued an RFP about 5 years ago to hire an on-call firm to support us with creative design and media strategy support. We awarded this contract to Celtis Ventures in April of 2019 for a 2-year base and 3 one-year options, and the contract expires in March. And we are, with Tony's retirement and with our new director of customer experience starting next week, we do have a need to line up our FY24 task order, mostly to include a campaign on Ride the Rapid, the 10R and the 30R, and potentially to advertise Go Tri Valley, our partnership with Uber and Lyft, but also to work on some creative and design work associated with your new network that will come out of the Wheels in Motion service plan that's starting here next month. The total budget for 6 months of work is approximately $100,000. The funding for this is included in our FY24 budget for consultant services. And I am happy to answer any questions that you have.
I have none.
I just have one. Sure. I know, is there ever any grant funding for this? I only ask because, so the county put one out for for existing agencies, like nonprofits that were already there, but they needed a little bit of extra help, like, people get supplies, people do, kind of, networking and also after, but the county was actually, providing that, which I thought, I think it's great for nonprofits because they never have any money, or community-based organizations are always like limited on money. So I was just wondering if there's ever.
We did have a federal grant in the past for some of this work. But that program was more, what do I want to call it, door-to-door, face-to-face. And it kind of
But individualized
individual
marketing.
with COVID. Because
Sure.
people didn't want you knocking on your door, talking to you
Yeah.
face to
And
face.
even now, even like, I think before, people were not wanting to answer their doors.
We actually got complaints from people, like, don't send people in our neighborhood, we don't know you, we don't want you here, so anyway, it fizzled and, it didn't really finish out, but there, there may be those types of, they're competitive grants.
Yeah.
And they do come up occasionally, and we do
Yeah.
go after them.
Especially marketing things like, Go Try Alley, which is an alternative, option for folks. I think those, we can always keep our eye out and looking for opportunities.
Yeah, it's usually for programs, it's not
Yeah.
kind of your overall system, but if you have something in particular that you can show there's gonna be a return on investment, those grants do present themselves every so often.
Now that we have Jennifer back here, in
Yeah.
action, she's
We might
keeping an
have to-
eye on all the grants for us, so, which is very helpful. Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay, can I get a motion to move forward this recommendation on?
I will go ahead and recommend, on the on-cost data design needed spending service task order contract.
And I will second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Still no public preview of upcoming FNA committee items.
All right, well, as of right now, we don't have anything super exciting coming up, but sometimes we get surprises. September, we've got the minutes and treasurer's report. In October, the same, plus our ACFR, the annual comprehensive financial report, should be done and presented to you then to go to the board in November. And then November, usually the committee meetings are canceled just because they tend to fall at Thanksgiving. Same with December, because they tend to fall at Christmas, and so everyone's out of town. But if not, we will be bringing the TAC bylaws to you, it looks like. And if not, if the committee meetings are canceled, we just go straight to the board. So it'll still come to you, just in a different format. And then January, we will have our minutes and our treasurer's report, and Jennifer Yeamans is back, so we'll have our legislative program.
And we may cancel September. You and I, Melissa, will be in San Diego. So, and if there is nothing pressing on the agenda, we'll probably recommend canceling that.
Yeah, what's the date for September supposed to be?
The
anyways?
26.
Well, there we go, so
There you
September
go.
may be canceled.
Look at that.
Well, as of right now, there was nothing exciting on the calendar
Yeah,
anyway,
so
so.
we'll probably cancel that.
We could just take it to the board that will cancel it.
I don't think we even need to take it. to
No,
the board. We can
actually,
just cancel it.
In the past, we just asked the chair of the committee, are you okay? We have nothing, are you okay with this canceling? And they said yes.
And then you said,
everyone, okay. Which honestly, I can't see any reason anyone would object if we said, hey, we're not gonna have quorum.
Yeah, yeah.
I already have to take one meeting from my Chicago hotel. I don't have to take two.
Especially for minutes and treasurers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go yell down on the street. If anybody would like to see this meeting, come to my hotel room.
That doesn't sound
not weird.
That's what
No.
John says he does when he's traveling, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that, John.
You probably have some takers.
Yeah, for your safety, please don't do that.
Yeah. Okay, unless you have any other questions or items from the board, I believe that we can adjourn this meeting at 4:35.
All right.
Okay.
Here's our